Hey there my lovelies, and welcome to my booktube channel, The Sassy Library Fox. My name is V, and today we're going to talk about my January wrap-up. I didn't read a lot of books in January, I gotta be honest here. I only managed to read 3 books, but those 3 books were all great and I really enjoyed them and loved them. But unfortunately I didn't have a lot of reading time. I don't know what happened. January was over so fast. I had many things to do. This is the first time I was able to sit down and record a video after like 3 weeks, I think. I don't know when I recorded the last video. I think that says enough. So yeah, I'm finally sitting down and I'm finally going to talk about the books I read in January. As I already said, it weren't a lot, but the ones I read actually were great. So yeah, I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee here. You know me, coffee needs to be in my videos. Otherwise it wouldn't be one of my videos. Anyway, let's get back to the books I read in January. And the first book I read in January was Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And it's her first supernatural romance, and quite honestly, when I read it, I came to the conclusion that 1, Ali Hazelwood is able to write supernatural romances, and 2, she's actually kind of predestined for it. I don't know, a lot of things that sounded cheesy in her other books, or the other books I read written by her, were kind of cheesy, but in a normal context, I have to add. But with the supernatural element, it just works. I mean, we always have that alpha male character who wants to protect his family, friends, people, whatever. And in this case, we actually have it in the form of Lo, and Lo is an alpha werewolf. So this time around, it actually fit perfectly because he's allowed to act the way he does because he's a werewolf. Anyway, as for the plot is pretty easily told. I mean, we have Misery. Yes, her name is actually Misery. And Misery is a vampire, and she spent 10 years in the human world as some sort of collateral, because if the humans would have acted against the vampires, or vice versa, if the vampires would have acted against the humans, they would have been allowed to, well, kill the collateral. So they sent children to the other species as a collateral. And Misery has been a collateral for 10 years and then decided she would stay in the human world because she didn't give a damn about her father who sent her there. Let's just say he isn't really the nicest father. He definitely won't be father of the year. Actually, he will probably be the worst father of the year. Anyway, never mind. Misery decides to spend her time in the human world. She met a friend there, and Serena is her bestie, and well, Serena vanishes, and a couple of weeks after her disappearance, her father, not Serena's father, Misery's father, arranges a marriage for Misery, and she is supposed to marry Lo, the alpha of the werewolf pack. So yeah, and kind of function as a collateral over there as well, as far as I could tell. So she is married off to Lo, and at first she doesn't want to marry him, but then she realizes that he might know something about Serena's disappearance, so she decides to marry him and goes into werewolf territory. And then there happen a lot of interesting things. Lo and her get closer during this time. Yeah, it was really done well. I really liked the pacing, and Yeah, the plot was okay, but the book kind of lived and breathed from Misery and Lo's slow burn. I gotta say it like that. And Lo has a little sister named Anna, and I love that. I love that a child had a bigger role in the book for once. And Anna was really just adorable and cute, and she was probably the first one Misery opened up to. And yeah, she has this typical childish curiosity about her and wants to know everything and asks Misery about her ears and everything. So that was nice, a nice touch to the book, and it also showed Lo's protective side. And yeah, I enjoyed that book. It was nice. It was a slow burn. We only get really spicy scenes at the last percent of the book. Then they weren't really my kind of taste. They had like cough, cough, nothing, cough. And I'm not a huge fan of that, especially not in the Ali Hazelwood way. Yeah, I always have a problem with the way Ali Hazelwood writes intimate scenes, I might say. And it was no different, only that we had that added layer of nothing to it, and yeah, wasn't my cup of tea. Give me any AO3 story or Wattpad story with that kind of thing and I will read it, but the way she wrote it just made me cringe. But then again, all her intimate scenes in the other books also made me cringe. Yeah. Let's just say I'm not a fan of her writing intimate scenes. I think we can go with that. But other than that, I really enjoyed the book. I really liked Lo's and Misery's chemistry. Lo is the typical alpha male werewolf that is protective of his people, but he's also an architect, and I really like that he likes to draw and to design things. And Misery, of course, is the petite little vampire that needs to be protected, even though she's a fierce, strong female character as well. And yeah, her special talent is that she's basically a wizard or genius when it comes to technology. So she can hack computers and everything. She majored in that, I think. Anyway, it was nice. It was fast to read. I was through this book in no time. It had me entertained, so 4 paws it is. And I'm pretty certain there might be a second book in that series, or that there will be a second standalone in this series because of the ending. And here might come a spoiler part, but I need to get that off my chest. I'll mark it as a spoiler. At the ending of the book, we see Cone, Lo's bestie, seeing or getting aware of Serena, and he has the same reaction Lo has at the beginning of the book. So I'm pretty certain that those two will be mates and will hook up. So we would have a werewolf-human relationship. And I'm pretty certain that Ellie kept that option open if she wants to write another standalone in this universe. And maybe she also kept that option open with Owen, Misery's brother, because there would be potential with a human love interest as well. Yeah. Anyway, that's just my musings and my thoughts to this. But Ellie definitely kept her options open, and I'm pretty certain we might get a second standalone for Cone and Serena. Yeah. Anyway, enough of the spoiler. Let's get back to the second book I read in January. And the second book I read in January was The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I had to look it up because I always mix it up. We are so used to say ever after and things like that, so I have to make a real effort to say never after, if you get what I mean. I rated this book 5 paws, 5 stellar, raging, raving paws, because this was absolutely amazing. I already loved the first book, but this one was chef's kiss, amazing, awesome, great, all the best words you can think of. I really like that it picked up where the first book left off, so if you haven't read the first book, this might be spoilery, be aware of that before you continue with the video. If you've read the first book, be my guest and let's chat about this one. I really loved this book because we got to see so much more of Jax and of Eva acting together and being around each other. I swear, the way they antagonized each other, the way they still care about each other was so well done. And Eva knows she can't trust Jax, but some part of her still trusts him and feels drawn to him. And this even though she's married to Apollo. And Apollo even makes reappearance in this book. We get to see some of Apollo as well. Eva decides that she is going to help Jax to open the Valerie arc in order to help Prince Apollo. And they get closer and closer while they are looking for the stones. And there were moments with Jax where he was so sweet, caring. I mean, there was a scene where he even laughed. He laughed. It killed me, honestly. I love this man so damn much. And it was so nice to see that carefree side of him. And oh my god, they are killing me. And the ending, boah. I need to get my hands on a copy of the third book because I just need to know how it continues. The ending literally threw me off my feet. I was like, oh my god. Which rarely happens these days. Not a lot of books manage to leave me gasping like this one. And no, seriously. Eva and Jax killed me. It hurts so much. I really need to know what is going to happen next and if they will find their happily ever after, because they both deserve it after everything they went through. And I like that Eva is, well, she's not naive. She knows that Jax might do something to manipulate her, and she's weary of him for a good reason, but she still can't seem to stay away from him. But the ending, oh my god. Honestly, I need to know how it all ends. I need book 3. And then I might even make a spoilery section because I don't want to spoil anything here. But yeah, the ending. I finished this book about 3 weeks ago and I'm still reading from the ending, as you can tell. Anyway, amazing book, great characters, really nice hints, a lot of things that were revealed, and I just need the next one. The last book I read in January was Ophelia After All by Racquel Marie, I think. And I rated it with 4.5 paws. I already started it in December, but I only finished it in January because I had to return it to the library in between. I don't know if this happens to other people as well, but I kind of miss the deadline and can't finish the book before I have to return it, and then I borrow it later on when it's available again. So it took a little bit of time until I was able to finish it, but I did. And this one was such a surprise. I've never heard of Ophelia After All until I picked it up at my library and looked at the cover and realized it was a queer book. So not a lot of people seem to talk about this one, but it was really great. I love that it was some sort of coming of age story. We have Ophelia, the main character, and she has two things that seem to define her around her family. She is boy crazy and she loves her rose garden. So those are the two defining elements everyone thinks about when they think about Ophelia. But, and here comes the huge but, she becomes friends with a girl named Thalia. And there are two friend groups that kind of merge together. And Thalia is a member of the other friend group. And they spend a lot of time together until Ophelia realizes that she has a crush on Thalia. So, yeah, she's not as straight as she thought she was. And then there comes the huge confusion and, oh, yeah. It's kind of dramatic, everything about the revelation and the things that happen in here is kind of dramatic, but then again it's a typical teenage book, so you kind of expect drama. But I loved the way the different topics were approached. We have a very diverse cast with different ethnicities and with different sexualities, and I loved that. I loved that the cast was so diverse. And I also liked that Ophelia might have been defined by those two things at the beginning of the book, but she finds herself, she is trying to figure out who she is beyond having boy crushes and being known for having a beautiful rose garden. And I really liked that and the way this was approached. And I also liked all her friends, the friends group was amazing. We also have a love triangle from the secondary MCs, because Sammy, Ophelia's best friend, and Wes kind of, well, they have a rivalry and both want to go out with Lindsay, the cool girl, and she just can't seem to be able to decide. And I gotta admit that at the beginning I was more on Sammy's side, but near the ending I got to know Wes way better and I really liked Wesley and the way he thought about things. And I think Ophelia made the same experience. She didn't know a lot about Wesley, but alongside with Ophelia we get to know him better. And he's really such a nice and lovely guy. At the ending it got a little bit educational, with all the different labels and with all the diversity, but I didn't mind that much because it was explained to Ophelia, who had no idea whatsoever. So that still worked, even though it sounded a little bit more educational. But if you have a queer kid that hasn't figured out their sexuality yet and just wants to know more about those things, Ophelia, after all, might be the perfect book to follow that journey of her and to figure out things about yourself. So it definitely catered to the young adults and to its audience. Yeah, and I really liked it. I also liked the ending and how everything was resolved. Yeah, it was great. It was handled really well, and I love that we didn't get the typical ending you would expect from a young adult book. I love that it was kind of thinking outside of the box a little bit. Yeah, there's that. I really enjoyed that one as well. I rated it with, I think, 4.5 paws. Yeah, 4.5 paws. And it was a fun read, a good one, a very well written one. Yeah. Okay, so those were the 3 books I read in January. I hope that I would be able to read a 4th one as well, but I just didn't manage to do it. I was way too busy those last 2 weeks, and it showed in my tiredness at night when I wasn't able to pick up a single page or book. Yeah. Anyway, I would love to hear which kind of books you read in January. Did you read more books than I did? Which kind of books did you read? Were they good or were they bad? Yeah, I would really like to hear your thoughts on this. Also, if you've read one of the books I mentioned and what you thought about them. And yeah, I think that's it. You can always leave a like or a comment and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And I guess now we're really at the ending of my video and there's nothing left to say except of take care, stay healthy and safe, and see you around the next time. Bye!